think you know. Good afternoon, everybody. And just to pronounce my name is Grace Temiloluwa Agbede. And, yes. Okay, I'm very brief about this. My name is Grace Agbede, and we are from DUT. And my colleague here also is Theophilus Adedokun. So I'm pronouncing his name also, Theophilus Adedokun. And we are researchers, but let me just say this: we are in the field of linguistics. But we work with the research office in our department, in our university. So we are not familiar with this field, but we find it quite interesting. So along the way, if we begin to wobble, I would think we have our research and duty librarian here, Dr. Paladi, to come to our rescue. I think he's in the house. So just to state that before we proceed, that being said, my name is Grace again, and I would like to set the background about our title today. So we'll be talking about the impacts of 4IR on the functions of academic and research libraries from a South African perspective. And this is an important emerging field that has the potential to recognize society and people throughout the world in ways that have not been experienced before. And when we talk about 4IR, we talk about technologies. Here we have AI, which has been said several times during this conference. And some of them we have the chat GPT and we have the Qbot and so many of them like that. So I'll just try to talk briefly about my experience about this thing and my colleague will pick it up from there. As mentioned earlier by the chair, I have had the opportunity to review frequent papers and for reputable journals, but I will keep the name aside. And I had a very funny experience sometimes 2 months back or a month back when somebody has submitted the full manuscript. And out of curiosity, it sounded too good to be true. So I did my background check and I just put the title of the manuscript on ChatGPT. And it gave me the same abstract introduction review. And your guess is as good as mine. So when we talk about this, there seems to be so many disruptions and transformation when it comes to AI and things that concern librarians. And these are key issues we begin to pay important attention to as librarians and researchers also in the field of this thing. And it comes to a question of what do we need to do and how can this, because these changes are quite transformative and it could also be destructive. I remember somebody here came in with a card yesterday, a book loan card that was used back then. And we see that over the years, these things have changed to being done online. So that's also good. That's a good one. When we become students having to go through ChatGPT and all these things to write their thesis or their manuscript becomes a problem. And the question is, what is the way forward? Having said that, I'll hand over to my colleague and we'll pick it up from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. As she said, my name is Theophilus Adedokun, and I would start from where she ended, and I will talk about the current state of academic and research libraries in South Africa when it comes to 4IR, where we are now, and just to make reference to what the speaker said yesterday, whether we like it or not, we are in it together, and 4IR is not going. Now, talking about the current state of academic and research libraries in South Africa, the first thing I'll talk about is funding. And this is what libraries have been faced with in terms of funding. I remember one of the speakers was saying, I'm not sure if it's yesterday or today, I think they were bragging about their institution, saying that that their budget was not cut when it comes to, I'm not sure it's UJ or so. So when it comes to libraries, many libraries, institutional libraries in South Africa, they have shortage of fund, and because 4IRs has brought a lot of things which they might need to subscribe to, they might need to upgrade their existing technology to the one that fits 4IR, and sometimes they need to employ adequate personnel, or upgrade the existing one by training and retraining them on 4IR, which is technology. And the second one is the access to resources. Now, in terms of this, there's been a lot of progress made by several libraries in South Africa when it comes to digitizing their collections and offering them online. Uh, in the morning, someone mentioned, the library is being flooded these days. And, these days, many don't go to the library to actually um, borrow books, just as we used to do. Many go there to just read, and then sometimes, in case of my institution, students just go there to use the internet. They just find a space to sit, and then they use the internet. Yeah. So these days, what 4IR is bringing is you log in with your details from wherever you are, and with your institutional access emails, and then you have access to whichever resources from everywhere. So, the access to resources is that sometimes universities, libraries, they find it difficult to, we've been talking about open access, closed access since the beginning of the conference, and sometimes some of these are very expensive to subscribe to. So it's one of those things that library face, and it's one of the current status of generally the libraries in South Africa. Now, the third one is the negotiation and licensing, and we can, in the past, let's say within the last decade, Sanlik, for example, has they've made reasonable negotiation with publishers, publishers to make digital resources to be accessible to members universities, so that people can have access to published materials at discounted rate or with no rate. And another one comes to when we come to this OAP, this agreement that when they are able to even get access to those resources, library users would have wide, they will have access to more of these resources. And this is according to, the Sanlik, on the Sanlik website, is on their website about the new publishers, and we have different categories, gold and so on. And yeah, and moving to the next slide is the impact of 4IR on the functions of academic research libraries. Now, the first in this is the changing role of librarians. Now, the librarians that we know, is that those ones that would help, they help users with, helping them with getting books. No, this book is here, it's in this section, it's in this section. Now, the roles are changing. It's no longer about that only. The roles have now shifted to primarily focusing and organizing and managing physical material to become much more involved. They are now much more involved in the technological domain than getting more involved in, helping users to get access to, to get whatever they're borrowing from the library and so on. And the next one is the digital resource access. Now, if 4IR will be properly, if library would respond to 4IR properly, academic and research library, they will now provide users with access to a vast array of digital resources, which are not limited to ebooks, e-journals, and several databases. Now, another of the impact is now collaboration with academic researchers. Now, with 4IR, libraries from one institution to the other can now collaborate in terms of, okay, we are in, maybe we need this online resources and you don't have, and we don't have. Can you assist us in loaning us? That is called interlibrary loaning. So instead of, 4IR has now been has now designed in a way that you don't have to, because if you were to do an interlibrary loan before, what you would do is probably you need to courier those to the other library. But now it's just a matter of email. Do you have this? Then we have it, and then it's sent, and then the users uh, from the other institution can have access to that. So it brings about this collaboration within institution and academic researchers. Now, another one is another function or one of the roles that is changing is now on the emphasis on digital literacy. Now, academic research libraries, they now place more emphasis on digital literacy as librarians are now providing support uh, and required training to users in areas such as data management and information literacy, publication writing, and so on. Just like in my institution, libraries now assist in, in inviting in collaboration with the research office to say, okay, can you help us disseminate this? And then they're involved in training users in how to, in terms of writing publication or what do you do in your introduction and so on. So, and data management as well. So that is the roles, there are roles that is now changing in the era of fourth industrial revolution. Now, what are the opportunities and challenges for academic library in South Africa? First one is access to digital resources. I've made mention of that. Now, academic libraries with 4IR now, in fourth industrial revolution, they are provided with opportunity to expand their collections beyond the traditional print. When it comes to traditional prints, what we call hard copies, and with the increased availability of digital resources, libraries can now provide access to wider range of digital materials, such as databases, ebooks, e-journals, and other digital resources. And I spoke about this earlier also, it's collaboration. Now, when it comes to collaboration, libraries are now able to collaborate with other institutions and organizations to share and exchange resources and expertise. I remember in our library, in our library, in our institution, there are usually invitation of other librarians to share their expertise on some certain areas to the university community. So with 4IR now, we can now invite other expertise from other institutions and other organizations to collaborate with the institution. Now, data management, which is very important. With the amount of data that has been generated, courtesy of 4IR, libraries can play a critical role in managing and curating this data, and they can therefore provide support for data analysis, data management, and data visualization, which are crucial for research in many fields. I'm going to the challenges. Now, one of the important challenge that is being faced in the era of 4IR by librarians is, first is the digital divide. Digital divide has been in many, it's in other fields, other disciplines, but it greatly affects the operation of the library. And it's one of the major challenge in South African libraries. Some libraries do not have internet. They don't have internet sometimes, and they don't have access to other digital resources probably because of subscription issues and so on. And another important one is the skill gap. With 4IR, library has to now train or retrain the existing staff so that they would be able to operate in this era, because since their roles are changing, their roles are shifting, not changing. They have to now make sure that they are able to train them so that they are able to function. And when it comes to funding is also is a major challenge, and I've mentioned that earlier, that 4IR requires investment, not just a little investment. When it comes to technology, infrastructure, and training, which I've mentioned earlier. And however, many research and academic libraries presently in South Africa, they don't have sufficient funding to make this happen. It's an investment, but they don't have enough funding. And this can actually limit the ability of libraries to provide effective services to users. The last slide, which is the conclusion. Now, academic libraries in the SA, they need to develop a strategy to address the above-mentioned challenges. As we know, as I said earlier, 4IR is not going. We just need to live with it. And we need to, libraries, and we are mentioning libraries now, but everything still comes to government because most of the libraries are being funded externally. So, so that they can, to address the above-mentioned identified challenges and take advantage of the opportunities presented by 4IR. As much as 4IR or Fourth Industrial Revolution, it presents challenges, you still have the opportunities, and the opportunities are even exceed the more than the challenges. And this could involve partnering with other institutions and organizations, investment in staff development and training, and advocacy for increased funding and resources. So that is our presentation. Thank you.